Math Angels! Welcome back to my YouTube channel and be matalino with Miss Curtis. Kung bago ka pa lang sa aking YouTube channel, click the subscribe button and hit the notification bell to learn math, have fun, and be matalino. For today's supplementary video, we will be discussing Mathematics Grade 10, Module 7, Problems Involving Sequences. Objectives for today's discussion: solve problems involving sequences, arithmetic sequence, geometric sequence, harmonic and Fibonacci sequence. Before we formally start our discussion, you may answer your pretest. Numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5.
A few moments later.
Simulan natin sa problems involving arithmetic sequence. So let's recall yung mga napag-aralan natin sa mga nakaraang module para mas maintindihan natin ang ating discussion ngayon. Arithmetic sequence is a sequence where each term after the first is obtained by adding the same constant called common difference. We also discussed sa mga nakaraan nating module on how to find the nth term, kung saan meron tayong formula na a sub n is equal to a sub 1 plus the quantity n minus 1 d, where a sub n is the nth term, a sub 1 is the first term, and d is the common difference. So, this is what we call the arithmetic formula. So, napag-aralan din natin sa mga nakaraang module kung paano hanapin ang sum of the terms of arithmetic sequence. Meron tayong formula na s of n is equal to n over 2 times the quantity 2 a sub 1 plus the quantity n minus 1 d, or s of n is equal to n over 2 times the quantity a sub 1 plus a sub n, na kung saan si s of n is the sum of terms, si a sub n is the nth term, a sub 1 is the first term, n is the number of terms, and d is the common difference. So this is the sum of arithmetic sequence. Before tayo magbigay ng mga examples sa problems involving sequences, alamin muna natin ang steps in problem solving. This is presented by George Polya. Number 1 step: understand the problem. Read the problem carefully. Once the problem is read, list all the components and data that are involved. Ibig sabihin, sa problem natin, kailangan natin ilista o isa-isahin ang mga given. Aalamin natin kung ano ba yung hinahanap at tatanungin natin ang ating sarili, ano ba ang ating isosolve? Or in short, what is asked in the problem? Step number 2, devise a plan or translate. When you devise a plan, you come up with a way to solve the problem. Setting up an equation, drawing a diagram, and making a chart are all ways that you can do. So sa step number 2, nasa sa inyo yung diskarte kung paano nyo mas maiintindihan yung problem. Pwede kayong gumawa ng sarili nyong equation, pwede rin kayong mag-drawing, or kahit gumawa ng chart para mas maintindihan at masummarize nyo kung ano ba yung hinahanap sa ating problem. Step number 3, carry out the plan or solve. This is where you solve the equation you come up in your devise a plan step. So dito nyo gagamitin ang mga formulas, mga operations na pwede nyong gamitin para ma-solve ang problem. The last step and step number 4, look back, check and interpret. Check to see if you used all your information and that the answers make sense. Make sure that you write your answer with the correct labeling. Sa step na ito, babalikan natin yung problem. Let's ask ourselves kung nasagot ba natin yung hinahanap or tinatanong sa ating problem. At wag na wag kakalimutan ang correct labeling para alam natin kung ano yung hinahanap sa ating problem. So again, the 4 steps in problem solving. Step number 1, understand the problem. Step number 2, devise a plan or translate. Step number 3, carry out the plan and solve. And number 4, look back, check, and interpret. Huwag kakalimutan ang 4 steps na ito para mas mapadali ang paghahanap ng sagot sa mga examples of problem solving. So let's proceed to example number 1. Chantal saved from her school allowance as follows: 15 pesos on the first week, 20 pesos on the second week, and 25 on the third week, and so on. How much was her total savings after 50 weeks? So given, we have the sequence 15, 20, 25, and so on and so forth. So we have the first term a sub 1 which is equal to 15, n is equal to 50 dahil hinahanap natin yung pang 50 week. So we have the common difference d which is 5 since 20 minus 15 is 5 and 25 minus 20 is 5. So ang d natin is equal to 5. So we are looking for the S of n or the S of 50 dahil ang tanong is magkano ang savings niya after 50 weeks ng pag-iipon. So for the solution, gagamitin natin ang sum of arithmetic sequence formula which is S of n is equal to n over 2 times 2a sub 1 plus the quantity n minus 1d. So, kailangan natin i-substitute yung mga given sa ating formula. So, we have S of 50 is equal to 50 over 2, the quantity 2 times 15, plus the quantity 50 minus 1 times 5. Simplify natin ang ating equation. We have S of 50 is equal to 50 over 2, the quantity 30 plus 49 times 5. Let's solve. We have S of 50 is equal to 50 over 2, the quantity 30 plus 245. So we have S of 50 is equal to 50 over 2 times 275. So we have S of 50 is equal to 13,750 over 2, which is equal to 6,875. Therefore, the total savings of Chantal after 50 weeks was 6,875. So, kaya nyo rin ba mag-ipon katulad ni Chantal? I know you can do it, Math Angels. Let's have example number 2 involving arithmetic sequence. After a knee surgery, your trainer tells you to return to your jogging program slowly. He suggests jogging for 12 minutes each day for the first week. Each week thereafter, he suggests that you increase the time by 6 minutes per day. On what week will it be before you are up to 60 minutes per day? So para ma-solve natin ang problem na ito, gagamit tayo ng isang table kung saan meron tayong number of weeks and number of minutes. For the number of weeks, we have week 1, week 2, 3, 4, and so on and so forth hanggang sa hinahanap nating weeks. Meron din tayong 12 minutes on the first week. At sabi rin sa ating problem na sinasuggest ng trainer na mag-a-add tayo ng 6 minutes every week. So 12 plus 6, we have 18 for the second week. 18 plus 6, we have 24 for the third week. 24 plus 6, we have 30 on the fourth week. And so on and so forth hanggang 60 minutes per week. So, meron tayong given na common difference D, which is basing sa ating table. A sub 1, we have 12, and A sub n, which is 60. Ano ngayon ang ating hinahanap? So, we are looking for the value of n. So, for the solution, gagamit tayo ng arithmetic sequence formula, which is a sub n is equal to a sub 1 plus the quantity n minus 1 times d. So, kailangan natin i-substitute yung mga given data sa ating formula. So, we will have 60 is equal to 20 plus the quantity n minus 1 times 6. Simplify, we have 60 is equal to 12 plus 6n minus 6. We have 60 is equal to 6n plus 6. Simplify, 60 minus 6 is equal to 6n, and 54 is equal to 6n. So we have n is equal to 9. Therefore, you will jog for 60 minutes per day on the 9th week. Para masubok ang iyong kakayahan kung paano isolve ang problems involving arithmetic sequences, try this. Letter A, if the number of tourists continue to increase in the same manner, make a table representing the number of visitors from first month to the 6th month. Letter B, represent the data in the table using a formula. Use a formula to justify your data in the table. And letter C, what is the total number of tourists for the first 6 months?
A few moments later.
Tapos nyo na ba, Math Angels? So, tignan natin kung pareho tayo na sagot. So, for letter A, given A sub 1 is equal to 1,585, and D, the common difference, which is 395. Ang hinahanap sa letter A ay isang table. So, ito ang answer ko. Pareho ba tayo ng sagot? Very good. So, for letter B, hinahanap ay isang formula. So, we have A sub n is equal to 1,190 plus 395n. And for letter C, we have S sub n is equal to 15,435. Great job, Math Angels! So now, let's proceed to problems involving geometric sequence. Tulad ng sa arithmetic sequence, let's recall ano nga ba si geometric sequence? It is a sequence where each term after the first is obtained by multiplying the preceding term by a non-zero constant called common ratio. So to find the nth term of a geometric sequence, meron tayong formulang a sub n is equal to a sub 1 times r raised to n minus 1. Kung saan, si a sub n is the nth term, a sub 1 is the first term, and r is the common ratio. This is what we call the geometric formula. So, para naman mahanap natin ang sum of the terms of a geometric sequence, we have the formulang a sub n is equal to a sub 1 times the quantity 1 minus r raised to n all over 1 minus r. Take note, si r must not be equal to 1. Where s sub n is the sum of terms, a sub n is the nth term, a sub 1 is the first term, n is the number of terms, and r is the common ratio. This is what we call sum of geometric sequence. Para mas maintindihan natin kung paano mag-solve ng problems involving geometric sequence, let's have example number 1. Lito is starting a computer club. He considers himself as the first recruited member. His plan is for every member recruited on a particular month to recruit 2 new members the next month. Suppose Lito is the only member recruited in the first month, how many members will have to be recruited on the 7th month? So given na meron tayong sequence 1, 2, and so on and so forth, and we have a sub 1 which is 1, n is equal to 7 dahil hinahanap natin kung ilang members ang magkakaroon ang club ni Lito sa 7th month. So we have r which is 2 since every member recruits 2 new recruits. So we are going to find a sub n which is equal to a sub 7. So for the solution, ano kaya ang gagamitin nating formula? Gagamit tayo ng geometric sequence formula, which is a sub n is equal to a sub 1 times r raised to n minus 1. So, kailangan natin i-substitute yung mga given data sa ating formula. So, we will have a sub 7 is equal to 1 times 2 raised to 7 minus 1. So simplify, we have a sub 7 is equal to 1 times 2 raised to 6. Let's solve. We have a sub 7 is equal to 1 times 64. Therefore, a sub 7 is equal to 64. Therefore, there will be 64 members to be recruited on the 7th month. Let's have example number 2. A group of mountaineers who climbed Mount Asog during summer doubles every week. If there are 15 climbers for the first week of summer season, how many mountaineers will be there on the 7th week? What will be the total after the first 7 weeks of summer? So, gagamit tayo ng table para i-represent ang problem para ma-solve natin yung hinahanap. So, kailangan natin ang number of weeks. We have first week, second week, third week, hanggang 7th week. At the number of mountaineers. Ang sabi sa problem, meron tayong 15 climbers sa first week. Pero, every week, nagdodoble ito. So, we are going to multiply 2 yung 15. So, 15 times 2, we have 30 for the second week. 30 times 2, we have 60 for the third week. So on and so forth, hanggang mahanap natin kung ilang climbers or mountaineers meron sa 7th week. Given, we have the common ratio which is 2 and n is equal to 7. Find a sub 7 and s of n. Dahil hinahanap natin kung ilang mountaineers meron sa 7th week at ilan ang total of mountaineers sa buong summer noong 7 weeks. So for the solution, to find a sub 7, we are going to use the geometric sequence formula. We have a sub n is equal to a sub 1 times r raised to n minus 1. So kailangan natin i-substitute yung mga given sa ating formula. We have a sub 7 is equal to 15 times 2 raised to 7 minus 1. Let's simplify. We have a sub 7 is equal to 15 times 2 raised to 6. Let's solve. We have a sub 7 is equal to 15 times 64. So we have a sub 7 is equal to 960. Therefore, there will be 960 mountaineers on the 7th week. So dahil nahanap na natin kung ilang mountaineers meron sa 7th week, hanapin naman natin kung ilan yung total sum ng mga mountaineers within 7 weeks. So we are going to use the sum of geometric sequence formula. We have S of n is equal to a sub 1 times the quantity 1 minus r raised to n all over 1 minus r. Substitute ulit natin yung mga given sa ating formula. We have S of n is equal to 15 times the quantity 1 minus 2 raised to 7 all over 1 minus 2. Simplify, we have S of n is equal to 15 times the quantity 1 minus 128 divided by or over negative 1. Let's solve. We have S of n is equal to 15 times negative 127 over negative 1. So we have S of n is equal to negative 1905 over negative 1, which is S of n is equal to 1905. Therefore, the total number of mountaineers after 7 weeks is 1905. Now it's your turn to try this. Letter A. Make a table representing the number of adolescent girls who attended the lecture from Barangay 1 to Barangay 7, assuming that the number of attendees double at each barangay. Letter B. Analyze the data in the table and verify using the nth term of geometric sequence. And letter C. Because people who heard about the lecture given by the group thought that it would be beneficial to them, 5 more different barangays requested the group to do the lecture for them. If the number of girls from these 5 barangays will increase in the same manner of that of the first 7 barangays, determine the total number of girls who will benefit from the lecture. I know you can do it!
A few moments later.
Nasagutan mo ba? Tignan natin kung pareho tayo nasagot. I'm sure tama ang iyong mga sagot. Great job! Nakaranas ka na ba na maka-encounter ng geometric sequence in your life? Alam kong meron. Isn't it amazing na pwede natin ma-relate itong topic na ito sa pang-araw-araw nating gawain? Now let's get to know more situation involving sequences. The fundamental tone of a string instrument, say a violin, is obtained by plucking the string. The first harmonic is obtained by lightly plucking the string at its midpoint. The second harmonic is obtained by plucking it 1/3 the way down, and so on. The n-1th harmonic is obtained by plucking it at a point 1/n the way down. What sequence is modeled by this property of a string instrument? So kung mapapansin natin, magkakaroon tayo ng sequence na 1, 1/2, 1/3, 1/4, 1/5, and so on and so forth up to 1/n. This is what we call harmonic sequence. Pansinin natin yung sequence formed. Kung mapapansin natin, ang sequence formed, kapag binaligtad natin, makaka-form tayo ng arithmetic sequence. Therefore, harmonic sequence is a sequence such that the reciprocals of the term form an arithmetic sequence. Ano nga ulit ang reciprocals? Ang reciprocals ay kapag binaligtad mo ang numerator and denominator. So, ano ang reciprocal ng sequence formed natin? So, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on and so forth up to n. That is an arithmetic sequence. So, ibig sabihin, si harmonic sequence is related sa arithmetic sequence. Para mas maintindihan natin ang problems involving harmonic sequence, laging tatandaan, in solving harmonic sequence, use the concept of arithmetic sequence. So, let's have this example. What is the next term in the sequence 1/2, 1/4, 1/6, 1/8, and so on and so forth? So, meron tayong given na harmonic sequence na 1/2, 1/4, 1/6, 1/8, and so on and so forth. So, dahil kailangan natin gamitin ang concept ng arithmetic sequence, hanapin natin ang kanyang reciprocal, which is 2, 4, 6, 8, and so on and so forth. So, meron na tayong arithmetic sequence. So, dahil meron na tayong arithmetic sequence, meron na tayong a sub 1, which is 2, n is equal to 5, and the common difference 2, since 4 minus 2 is equal to 2, 6 minus 4 is equal to 2, and 8 minus 6 is equal to 2. Therefore, the value ng common difference d is equal to 2. So, hinahanap natin ang a sub 5 or the fifth term dahil ang hinahanap sa problem natin is the next term in the sequence. So, for the solution to find a sub 5, we are going to use arithmetic sequence formula. So, we have a sub n is equal to a sub 1 plus the quantity n minus 1 times d. So, kailangan natin i-substitute ang ating given data sa ating formula. We have a sub 5 is equal to 2 plus the quantity 5 minus 1 times 2. Simplify, we have a sub 5 is equal to 2 plus 4 times 2. Let's solve, we have a sub 5 is equal to 2 plus 8. So, we have a sub 5 is equal to 10. Is it the final answer? If your answer is no, you're correct. Because we are looking for the reciprocal of a sub 5, which is 1/10. Therefore, the next term of the harmonic sequence is 1/10. Try mo nga sagutan to. Given the arithmetic sequence -20, -26, -32, and -38, find the first 8 terms of the corresponding harmonic sequence. You can do it, math angels! Do we have the same answer? Alam kong tama ka! Congrats! For more examples of situations involving sequences, let's get to know more of this. Interesting number patterns are all around us. For example, The scales of a pineapple form a double sets of spirals. When these spirals are counted, we see that there are 3 distinct families of spirals with usually 5 and 8, or 8 and 13, or 13 and 21. If you have a pineapple in your house, check it out. Observe anong pattern meron sila. Meron ba silang 5 and 8, 8 and 13, or 13 and 21? Comment it down below kung anong klaseng spiral meron ang pinya nyo. Likewise, the seeds in a sunflower head form 2 distinct sets of spirals that radiate in opposite direction from the center. An average head has 34 in one direction and 55 in the other. Smaller heads have 13, 21, and 34. So, anong sequence kaya ang na-form natin sa examples na to? So, meron tayong 5, 8, 13, 21, 34, and 55. What do you observe with the sequence? Meron ba tong common difference para maging arithmetic sequence? Or meron ba tong common ratio para maging geometric sequence? Kapag ba hinanap natin ang kanyang reciprocal, makakagawa tayo ng harmonic sequence? If your answer is none of this, then you are right, because this is what we call Fibonacci sequence. It is a sequence where each number is the sum of the 2 preceding terms starting from 0 and or 1. So example, we have 0, 1. Kapag inad natin itong dalawang preceding term, 0 plus 1, siya ang susunod na term, which is 1. So we have 1 plus 1, we have 2. 1 plus 2, we have 3. 2 plus 3, we have 5. 3 plus 5, we have 8. And so on and so forth. So try this. Given the Fibonacci sequence 5, 8, 13, 21, 34, 55, find the next 5 terms. Since each new term in a Fibonacci sequence can be obtained by adding its 2 preceding terms, then the next 5 terms are 89, 144, 233, 377, and 610. Fibonacci sequence is a special kind of sequence. It can be applied into nature, animals, and even to our body parts. Laging tatandaan, math angels, mathematics is not just about numbers, equations, or computations. It is all about understanding and appreciating things which involves mathematics around us. So now, let's assess kung ano ang inyong mga natutunan sa lesson natin ngayon. We have a lot of practice tasks to help you understand our lesson better. Task 1, Task 2, and Task 3. For your post-test, open your module on pages 11 to 12, and for the additional activities, open your module on page 13. You can do it, Math Angels!
A few moments later.
Thanks for watching! Congrats, Grade 10 Math Angels! Natapos niyo ang modules involving sequences. So kung meron kayong mga tanong, comment, and suggestions, comment it down below. At huwag kakalimutan to like this video and share this to your fellow learners para maging matalino rin sila like you. Bye!